Hello, this is your host, Adam Graham, bringing you another compilation of episodes from our World War II series, The War. These episodes represent kind of a hodgepodge of programs that aired in the days leading up to World War II. There's comedy, including deluxe radio theater adaptation of the classic Abbott and Costello film Buck Privates at the very start of the compilation. But over the course of this compilation, you'll hear drama and you'll also hear public affairs and news programming. Now, as always, I do want to mention that we do post these World War II compilations infrequently during scheduled recording breaks or at appropriate times. If you want to hear more of the War series and not have to wait, please check out our complete playlist for the War on YouTube. But now, without any further ado, let's enjoy this compilation of pre-Pearl Harbor programming.
Get ready for unique, rare, and little-known treasures from the golden age of radio. You're listening to The Amazing World of Radio with Adam Graham.
Welcome to the Amazing World of Radio. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham. If you have a comment, email it to me, box13@greatdetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter at Radio Detectives and become one of our friends on Facebook, facebook.com/Radio Detectives. Well, we're continuing our baseball series here on the Amazing World of Radio, and we're going to bring you an episode of Destination Freedom. Destination Freedom, much like New World A-Coming, which we played over Christmas, is one of the few radio programs that were written by Black Americans and about the lives and history of Black Americans. It was originally sponsored by the Chicago Defender newspaper and later by the Chicago Urban League. And originally it was just played in the Chicago area. This episode originally aired May the 15th, 1949, and the title is The Ballad of Satchel Paige.
Destination Freedom. Destination Freedom, dramatizations of the great democratic heritage of the Negro people, is brought to you by station WMAQ as a part of the pageant of history and of America's own Destination Freedom. When the story of America's national sport is written, there has got to be in it one chapter from the fabulous career of the world champion Cleveland Indians pitching ace Satchel Paige. Today, Destination Freedom will play that chapter entitled The Ballad of Satchel Paige.
Nobody knows when he first played on a baseball field. Some say he put out Caesar when old Julius tried to steal. Some say he learned about curves watching Antony's Cleopatra. But it ain't no truth in the story that Methuselah was his catcher. Oh, Satchel Paige, nobody dared to bother about his age, 'cause he was the best pitcher that the good Lord ever made.
Case history of the legend starts this way. Mobile. A kid named Leroy Paige roamed like a tumbleweed through the streets. Pitched bricks at tin cans on back fences when he played hooky from Oakdale High back near the bay. Struck out scrawny kids in sandlot ball games. Built a pitching arm and played against pro players who strayed down to the rough south side of town and sent them scurrying off with wild tales of a kid who had a baseball trained like a hawk. It could tear the heart out of home plate. Stood 6'3" in his stocking feet. Could bend back like bamboo. Could dust ash off a smoker cigar with a brick at 60 feet. And when he was 16 summers old, he heard about a baseball team in Chattanooga that was open to Negro ball players. And one hot day, he pointed his long, lean, size 14s toward Tennessee. And he went a-treading over Lookout Mountain, down toward the ballpark in the valley. Tails went a-spreading ahead of him.
Over Lookout Mountain, his feet were a-treading, and ahead of his feet, the tails started spreading. About a pitching man, over 6 foot tall, who had learned how to throw the atomic ball. To Chattanooga town went Satchel the gangling. To Lookout Park was where he was a-angling. Now the baseball boss, whose name was Bailey, had heard their tales, and he argued daily with his coach Sam that they were not true. But the coach just grinned. There was something he knew. And he turned to Boss Bailey, about to say something sage, when over the mountain trod big Satchel Paige.
They say that's the way he come down on that Chattanooga ballpark. He walked on the field, walked around the field, walked across the field, and stopped in front of Boss Bailey.
Hey, Coach.
Yes, sir, Mr. Bailey.
Who's this scarecrow?
Oh, well, he comes from a little scrub team in Alabama. His name's Paige. He pitches.
These hicks have more fair stories about ball players than the law allows. Don't know baseball from a sweet potato. Hey, you.
Paige is the name. Leroy Paige.
And what might be your profession?
I'm a pitcher, like he said.
I need a pitcher, but you ain't the one.
I can catch and bat.
The only catcher bat I'd ever hired would be Josh Gibson. You, Josh Gibson?
No, sir.
Well, who recommended you anyhow?
Oh, folks around home, mostly. I got the surprising kind of pitching, they say. They said...
Look, kid. Look, professional baseball ain't no game for you. I know you grew up reading about Casey at the bat instead of your rightful nursery rhymes. Right now, you ain't even a decent juvenile delinquent. Now, blow.
I'd sure like to help your team.
Best way is to get a job on our rivals' team. Now, beat it.
Just a minute, Mr. Bailey.
Yeah?
Well, I own a part of the stock in this team, too.
What are you getting at?
Well, they say this kid here can pitch.
You say that to say what?
I bet you my share of the team's stock against yours. He'll do all right in a tryout.
Oh, soft-hearted, soft-headed coach. If you take stock in tall tales, I shouldn't mind taking over your stock in the team. All right, Sage or Cage or whatever they call you. Grab a glove, go to the bullpen and warm up.
Don't need no warming, mister. I stay hot.
Oh, don't even know the physiology of the game. Well, see if you can find your way out on the mound.
All right, sir. I'll do my best.
Hey, Coach, tell all the players to knock off and stand around. I'm going to see that this hit gets his fill of baseball. Get me Hank.
Sure, Chief. Hey, Hank. Hey, home run, Hank. The boss wants you.
What's pitching, boss?
That screwball on the mound there wants to give somebody batting practice. Oblige him, will you?
I'll shoot line drives straight at his head, boss.
No, you just play with him somewhat. Give the team a little relaxation.
Sure, boss. I know just what he needs.
Yeah, that hick needs a pitching good fit. Give it to him.
Go give that hick a pitching good fit was that old boss man's cry. Knock that pitcher out of his box and I'll laugh until I die. The coach went down in the dugout and he dug up the team's best catchers. Then just for safety first he measured Satch and got a stretcher. But not young Satch, no, he stood out on the mound with one arm on his hip and the other dangling down near the ground. And the ball players laughed like they had themselves a fit, while the catcher put on his guard and grabbed his catcher's mitt.
Hey, come on, pitch up. Quit stalling.
Come on, pitch up. I'll show you why they call me Home Run Hank. And Satch bent way back just like a stick of bamboo. Why, he looked like a hairpin or a standing horseshoe. One long foot kicked a hole in the sky, the other held the ground. Then he must have pitched that blazing ball, 'cause there was a whistling sound.
Hey, what happened? I didn't see that before.
The bamboo stick had straightened up, and it stood still and surveyed the damage. They say the bat had been knocked down by the breeze, and the catcher was stone cold from the impact of the ball.
All right. Stop standing around with your jibs loose. One of these here sudden Tennessee cyclones just passed us all. Now, have that catcher up on his feet there. Hey, now, kid, pitch. And don't wait for freak wind blast to help you.
They helped the stricken batter and give him a gentle shove. Got another catcher, put a pillow in his glove. Then young Satch went right back to the mound. He bent way back and brought the ball up from the ground.
Hey, it happened again. The catcher knocked out cold again.
Better knocked out by the breeze.
There's a cyclone around here. The weatherman should have warned us.
It wasn't no wind, Mr. Bailey.
Well, then he's got a cannon in his pocket.
He ain't even got a slingshot. This kid, they say, ain't human.
Every human's human.
Yeah, but we
Set up another batter and catcher. We'll try one more time.
They set up the batters like 10 pins in a bowling alley, and he struck 'em down till the sun went down over Lookout Mountain. And the coach knew he'd won a team and had a player with the power of 22 men who could pitch like he wasn't quite exactly human. The players crowded round the wily old coach and told the catcher to analyze the pitch.
The coach says that me and you's going to work together, Mr. Paige.
Yeah, we'll be working with you from now on, Mr. Paige.
Just call me Satchel, boys.
Well, what I was seeing here is your catcher. We've got to get to understand each other.
Sure.
Pitcher and a catcher's got to go along like a doctor and a nurse.
Sure.
Got to understand each other's signals.
Yes.
Now, if you don't mind telling me, seeing as I don't want your trade secrets, you understand, just want to know what I'm entitled to know.
Why, sure.
Then tell me, what kinds of ball do you pitch?
What kind?
Like, say, some pitchers got, a curveball,
Yes.
a knuckleball,
Yes.
a jump ball, drop ball, bean ball, you see? Now give me a list of the kind of balls you'll be pitching so as I can learn how to signal for 'em.
Well, I'll tell you about the balls I throw.
Yeah.
One is fast.
Yeah.
The other is faster.
Well, the catcher, he looked up and he heard old Satchel say, maybe someday when I'm old and gray, there'll be other balls that I'll have to master. Now all I need is one that's fast and another one that's faster. He didn't have no curve and he didn't have no drop, just one blazing ball that the batters couldn't stop. Oh, Satchel, yes, oh, Satchel Paige, built the pitch in the atomic age. Lean as a greyhound and as tall as a tree, he was the pitcher of history. Oh, Satchel, Satchel Paige.
They say they put him on that Tennessee team, put a uniform on his back, nailed spikes onto his 14s, and sent him pitching round the Southern Circuit. Umpires in New Orleans, Memphis, Houston, Birmingham, Atlanta, Jackson, Tallahassee, Macon watched his blazing pitches and put out their reports.
Strike three, batters out! Strike three, batters out!
They say had them all singing the same tune, week in and week out, year in and year out. And they put up a poster that said,
Satchel Paige is pitching here tonight. Batters beware, hitters hide. Batters beware, hitters hide. Batters beware.
And people would come from miles around just to see him pitch. And he moved from team to team till he hit the town of Pittsburgh, and a guy named Gus Greenlee saw the gold dust dripping off his long, willowy right arm and called him in and asked him to sign a mighty odd contract.
You pitch your arm off in that Southern Circuit, never get nowhere. I got a proposition.
What's your pitch?
On my team, the Pittsburgh Crawfords, lost the best batter in the country, Josh Gibson.
Josh Gibson?
Yeah, gone with the Homestead Grays. I need you because you pitch like he bats. Now, nobody ever seen you banged out of the box. The kind of rep you're building up, you'll draw $100,000 a year.
Kind of like to meet this guy, Gibson.
Yeah, my advice. When you see him at bat, let some other sucker pitch. Now, you've been winning 49 out of 50 games. That proves you ain't human. Once you meet Josh...
I've never met a batter who couldn't strike out. Sooner or later.
If I have anything to say about it, you'll never meet this one. Play it safe. Let's barnstorm right.
He barnstormed all around the country with Josh Gibson on his mind. He went a-mowing down batters like on an assembly line.
He frisked the lineups of 40 teams in 40 days, pitched shutouts, and in one game struck out 23 men, wet because the other 4 fouled out. Then they say young Satch went into Chicago to play a hot series game, and his manager stopped him in the dugout.
Satch.
Yeah?
The team we're playing's imported a special batter.
Yeah? I hope it don't hurt his feelings by striking him out.
I hope he don't hurt your reputation. That reputation's worth $100,000 a year to me. I can't afford to have it hurt.
Me neither. That's why I strike him out.
That special batter's Josh Gibson.
I've been waiting for him a long time.
They write songs about his hitting like they write songs about your pitching. You stay in the dugout. I'll put in a sub. I can't spoil your record.
What about his?
Yours is worth more.
Look, I never ducked no batter. I ain't ducking this one. Let me loosen my arm up on this kind of hitter. I'll learn more.
I ain't letting you pitch this game.
It's either this game or no game.
All right. Go to the slaughter, little lamb.
He walked out on the field, headed toward the mound. Looked up in the bleachers, there was everyone in town. Why, the fans hung off the rafters, and the fans stood on the roof to see was Paige or Gibson best. See the naked proof. Josh Gibson, he was good, and he swung a heavy bat. And when he hit that ball, oh, child, it wasn't no loving pat. Old Satchel, he leaned back to give the folks a show, and then he straightened up and let his lightning go. Strike one! Oh, Josh adjusted his cap, and he let out a long, long sigh as he watched that well-trained ball go zooming by. Satch wound up again to deliver another blow. Then something happened that hadn't happened before. Josh hit the ball, and you could hear it sing, shot over the walls just like it had some wings. Oh, Josh just went and crawled around the park, 'cause he knew they wouldn't find that ball till way, way after dark.
They say the long shutout record of the Satchel stopped, and the manager, who'd never quite believed young Satch was human, called him aside and said,
You ain't the phenomenon I've been advertising. How you explain it?
Well, it just proves that I'm human.
They say the next time he pitched to old Josh Gibson, it was in a park in Chicago. He let 3 men get on base just to get to Killer Gibson. When he came up to the plate, Satch called out to him,
Hey, Josh! Hey, Satch! I'm striking you out with 3 straight balls.
Ain't no man that's human can do that to me.
The first one will be fast. Strike one! The next one's fast. Strike two! This one's faster. Strike three! Out!
And bedlam broke out in the boxes like measles. The crowd threw so many straw hats out on the field, it took 20 attendants 2 hours to clear them away. 10 cops beat back the congratulators. 2 doctors fixed Satchel's hand bones he'd broke through handshaking. And he went traveling on and pitched against the big league batters in all-star games. He caught Hack Wilson in Pasadena, struck him out 6 times straight. In Chicago, he sought out Babe Herman. The Babe never got to first base. Ted Williams swung out like a blind man in Brooklyn. He cut down Lloyd Wainer in Pittsburgh and struck out Joe DiMaggio in San Diego, dueled with Dizzy Dean up and down the West Coast, and took him 11 games out of 12. Picked out a kid named Bob Feller in Iowa, taught him every trick in the trade, and sent him up to the majors. And one pre-war year, Satchel knocked at the gates of the major leagues. But the scout shook a sad head.
Yeah, if you would have been with the Cubs, the Sox, the Senators, you could have won many a pennant for 'em. Some of them teams ain't seen no part of a pennant in years. But they still won't take you. People keep pushing against the Jim Crow door. It'll crack wide open one of these days. I hope you'll still be around.
The scouts kept it coming. The scouts kept a scouting. Not a single one was doubting. Into the major leagues, old Satch would go. Once they got rid of that guy called Jim Crow.
And he kept traveling the circuit of the Negro League. Played with the Baltimore Black Barons, the Cleveland Brown Bears, Nashville Elite Giants, the Kansas City Monarchs. Got so good the touts followed him around the country and gave guarantees that sounded like fables.
The great Satchel Paige is pitching inside this park, folks. I'll bet you 4-1 he's a guaranteed to strike out the first 3 batters. First 3? That's right, that's right.
And he'd look back over his shoulder and see that the first inning was over, and the 3 batters had already swung out like rusty gates, and he'd call out.
Oh, did I say the first 3 batters, folks? 5-1, Satchel guaranteed to strike out the first 6. The first 6.
And then Satchel sent down the next 3. The touters would hear the umps report and increase their guarantee.
Did I say the first 6? I'll guarantee he'll strike out the first 9. Guaranteed, folks. A gilt edge guarantee. Get your tickets right here. Guaranteed to strike out 9 men.
They say he kept traveling, and the guarantees kept growing. One season in Iowa, he struck out so many men, the outfielders were scared they'd be jailed for vagrancy, loitering round the ballparks with nothing to do. He pitched north in the summers, south in the winters, Latin America in the falls. He pitched all season, and his seasons lasted 12 months straight. And one winter season, on a ball field high in the hills of Mexico City, he was practicing some new pitches while his coach speculated.
Yeah, changing your whole style of pitching, huh?
Yeah. Think I'll ease up on my speedball. Throwing curves, drops, and a few foolers.
Yeah?
Curves like this. Only it won't curve.
Looks all right to me.
Funny, I didn't have no trouble curving it back in the States.
Hey, watch your arm. You've been curving that ball for hours. Maybe it's the air.
I ain't stopping till I get it to curve like a corkscrew.
It was way up on the mountain high. He couldn't throw a curveball no matter how hard he tried. Satch woke up one Mexican morning, couldn't lift his arm to scratch his head. His trusty pitching arm seemed just like a piece of lead.
All right, Doc. You've been studying my x-rays all day. Now, what's wrong with my arm?
It is hard to explain.
Can I pitch again?
Never. Here's what has happened. Many American ball players make the same mistake. I'm no baseball expert, but, well...
It's all right, Doc. Pitch it.
Well, apparently, it takes a certain density of air to make a curveball curve. That is, the spin on the curveball sets up a counter-reaction in the air, which sometimes causes it to waver somewhat. Is that it?
Keep on.
Well, then, naturally, when the air is thin, as up in the Mexican mountains, a pitcher can throw his arm off trying to set up air reaction. Nothing will happen except it can ruin, dislocate the important parts of the body. In yours, an infection has set in. I advise Senor Paige, rest. Plenty of rest.
I can't get up on that mound again?
If you do not want them to bury you under it, stay off it.
Oh, hang up your gloves. Forget the itch to pitch. If you don't want to be buried deep in a grave digger's ditch. Oh, Satchel, listen, and he sat stone still. But he made up his mind to do the doctor's will. I'll go join the monarchs down in Kansas City. I'll just be a coach, you know, and boys, that's a pity. For that'll be the end of me. Yes, that'll be the end of me. Of old Satchel, old Satchel Paige.
They say batters come out of hiding from Houston to Honolulu and had a field day. They say pitchers from Pittsburgh to Panama went in mourning as Satch went coaching for the Monarchs. And for a long time, nobody could make his long, lean fingers touch a ball. Nobody except the boys he visited one day in a hospital ward in San Diego. They'd just come from Okinawa. They'd asked the government to send Satchel Paige round, and he came.
They sent him to the soldiers to bring them good cheer. But when they heard he'd quit the game, they wept for many a tear. One soldier said, Mr. Paige, I've heard of you since I was a child. I wanted to come home and see you make them batters swing wild. Oh, Satchel Paige, you was the best darn pitcher that the good Lord ever made. Oh, Satchel Paige, please pitch once more, some soldiers said. All right, said Satch, I'll do it, even if it kills me dead. Hey, Satchel Paige.
He went back to the ballpark where the Monarchs were playing, walked out on the field past the coach and the players, and bet his life saving he'd strike out the first 9 men. They say the crowd got quiet when he stepped on the mound. One leg shot up and tipped the sky, the other held firm to the ground. And he must have thrown his blazer ball, 'cause there was that whistling sound.
Strike one!
There were curves, sidearms, overhands, underarms.
Strike two!
There were back jumpers and leap balls, bloopers and loopers, drops and dodges. Paige was pitching.
Ooh, I'll throw a ball that'll split the heart of a dime. I'll pitch and pitch and pitch, and I ain't gonna stop this time. I'll pitch the balls I'll save for my old age. Said old Satchel Paige.
They say he wound up like the first day he pointed his 14s toward Tennessee 25 years back. They say the batters and hard hitters went back into hiding. The doctor shook their heads and gave him up for dead. But he kept pitching round his 12-month season. And one evening in Cleveland, Bill Beck and Lou Boudreau stood by while he threw 50 pitches to a batter.
That's enough. 46 strikes out of a possible 50. You're ready to sign, that puts you on the Cleveland Indians team.
I've been ready a long, long time.
Yeah, I know. Too bad they can't see Satchel Paige the way I used to see you when I was a kid. Slinging only those 2 kinds of pitches. Fast one and a faster one. Jim Crow's cheated sports fans out of a fabulous time. You still got enough, more than enough, to show them what they could have seen if they'd stopped segregation in baseball from the start. How about getting into uniform?
True, you may not pitch like you used to at all, but you still got plenty of juice on the ball. Now look here, folks, I'm getting ready to go. 'cause the rest of my story you all just about know. How with Dobie, Gordon, Keltner, and that hustling Lou Boudreau, the Indians won the pennant, and old Satchel steal the show. If you don't believe my stories, the sure enough gospel true, goes to show baseball legend just ain't meant for you. In front of him fame was always a dangling. It came mighty late for Satchel the gangling. Oh, Satchel Paige, the greatest pitcher that my good Lord ever made. Oh, Satchel Paige.
You have just heard Destination Freedom's dramatization of the story of the Cleveland Indians pitcher Satchel Paige. Destination Freedom is written by Richard Durham and produced under the direction of Homer Heck. The role of Satchel Paige was played by Harris Gaines. The balladeer was Oscar Brown, Jr. Others were Dean Almquist, Harvey Hayes, Ted Liss, Tony Parrish, and Fred Pinkard. The special music was composed by Emil Soderstrom and played by Elwin Owen, Jose Bethencourt, and Lou Kessler. This is Charles Chan inviting you to be with us again next week when Destination Freedom will tell the story of Benjamin Banneker, Negro inventor and surveyor. This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.
Welcome back. When I went ahead and selected this episode to play, I did not know, I thought the use of the term ballad was figurative, but I really enjoyed the musical portion, the way it was played. Now, certainly when it comes to Satchel Paige, the way his story is told, it's kind of almost like a folk tale. And really, he is one of those larger-than-life characters. It's also hard to nail down, exactly to pure numbers how good he was, due to the difficulties with the record-keeping in a lot of Negro League games. And the episode was definitely right about Paige's year-round baseball. So many of his wins and so many of the great innings he put up in his career were often done in minor leagues. Like there was some integrated baseball out in North Dakota, and Paige, pitched there. And of course, barnstorming games could be against all-stars from the major leagues. There were several games that were played, which the radio program mentions, where he would be part of games between Negro Leaguers and the major leagues. But there was also barnstorming where they would, come into town and play the local semi-pro team. What's really amazing about Paige is his longevity. He started playing pro ball, as best we can determine, in 1926. He was nearly every year until 1961. He was playing somewhere, and then he came back in 1965 at the age of 59 years old and pitched 3 scoreless innings for the Kansas City Royals, and then played some minor league ball in 1966. That idea of a 59-year-old pitcher being able to go out and pitch 3 innings against big leaguers and hold them scoreless is just, it's amazing. You take some of the most dominant pitchers of our generation, Roger Clemens, Greg Maddux, Randy Johnson, Tom Glavine, these guys, now up into their 50s. I don't think a single one of them could go out and pitch 3 innings against a major league club right now and hold them scoreless. Even a bad major league club. And he was still a very good pitcher even after he lost his best stuff. Because the injury in Mexico, while the details may be a little different, they were correct that he had an arm injury which really forced him to change the way he pitched. So he was a very different pitcher when he came to the majors in 1948. And even then, he had an incredible season for the Cleveland Indians as the oldest rookie in Major League history at the age of 42. There was even talk of naming him Rookie of the Year, but he was not feeling that particular idea, given that he had been playing baseball professionally since 1926. I do think the story is right that there was a major loss to baseball fans who didn't follow the Negro Leagues, that they never, got to see Paige at his absolute finest. And it's fascinating to think about what he might have done had he been pitching in the major leagues and earning the type of money that a star big game pitcher earns, and therefore not needing to take on as many games and innings for all of these, barnstorming tours and things of that sort. I think, though, you take a look at his major and minor league record, his longevity, and just the stories told by those who faced him and those who saw him in action. And I think you can say with a lot of confidence that he was one of the all-time greats, if not the greatest pitcher ever to play the game. One thing I did want to mention is my very first encounter with Satchel Paige was in the 1981 made-for-TV movie Don't Look Back, the story of Leroy, Satchel Paige. It starred Louis Gossett Jr. as Satchel Paige, and it was a pretty interesting baseball biopic. It did have the incident in here with Paige walking the bases full to get to Josh Gibson. And it's a great scene. This is one that we're pretty sure Satchel Paige kind of dramatized and added some fictional elements, because the particular Negro League World Series game, 3 players got on with hits before he faced Josh Gibson. Because Paige did have an ego, but not enough that he would intentionally put himself up against Gibson, who was a superb hitter. I wish they had made a Ballad of Josh Gibson, although that one would end far less happily. All right, well, I've got an announcement here, and that is that the Patreon supporters have voted, and for our summer series, we will be doing Top Secret, an espionage series starring Ilona Massey. So we have 2 more baseball programs, and then we turn to listener comments and feedback, and I've been meaning to get to this one for a while, but I just have been getting so long-winded in these post-show commentaries that I look at how long I've been talking and just kind of rap. But this one comes regarding episode 110, the request performance. Bill writes, "Hi Adam, great show. Even though it was a few years early, when Dick Powell started singing, I half expected the Grouch to start complaining. Thanks." Of course, the Grouch was a character from the first season of Richard Diamond, who would interrupt his singing sessions with his girl, Helen. Of course, Richard Diamond being played by Dick Powell. Thanks so much for the comment, Bill, and that will actually do it for today. Join us back here next Wednesday for another great baseball episode from the amazing world of radio. We continue our baseball series, and today we're going to bring you an episode of Dick Cole. Dick Cole was a juvenile adventure series, and the first evidence I have of the series airing was during World War II. It has been compared to Jack Armstrong, All-American Boy, though maybe even a bit more so. Dick Cole is a student at Parr Military Academy, and this is one of his adventures. The program is entitled The Big Baseball Game.
Presenting Dick Cole and his thrilling adventures at Parr Military Academy.
We'll always be near to Parr. We'll praise her wherever we are. We'll cheer her each day with a hip, hip, hooray. It's a rule, there's no school like Parr. We'll sing out our loyalty. We'll ring out with voices free. As we travel through life, we will follow our star. We'll always be near to Parr.
Listen, boys and girls, today we bring you another exciting episode in the adventures of Dick Cole at Parr Military Academy. You've known Dick Cole in Blue Bolt magazine and in Foremost Comics for a long time, and now you meet him every week at this time over this same station on the air. In just a moment, you'll hear from Dick Cole himself. But first, here's a message you'll all want to hear. Now, here's Dick Cole to tell you about today's story.
Hiya, gang. Our story today is on something you all like and know about. Baseball. In the most crucial game of the season, there was a very clever trick pulled that almost worked. And if it had... Oh, but I'm getting way ahead of myself. Parr and Wilson Academy were tied for the league lead. And as our last game of the season was with Wilson, whoever won would win the championship. Naturally, we were bearing down pretty hard in practice. Ted Green was our pitcher. And one day, about 5 days before the Wilson game, Ted was pitching to me. He was doing his darndest to strike me out. And our coach and my roommate, Simba, who was cadet manager of the team, were standing near the dugout watching. Simba was laughing.
Oh, boy, look at that, Coach. Dick and Ted are both bearing down hard.
Looks like Ted wants to strike him out, and Dick doesn't want to be struck out.
Nobody can strike Dick out, Coach.
I wouldn't say nobody, Simba. That's a big word. But I will admit Dick has an uncanny batting eye. He almost always connects with the ball.
Well, that's why he's hitting .367 so far this season, sir. Boy, look at that!
Oh, boy, he really connected with that one. The left fielder pulled it down. Nice work, boys, nice work. You know, Simba, Ted Green is a sweet pitcher.
I'll say he is. Won 11 and lost only 1. He's a cinch to be named pitcher on the honorary league team. And I'll bet that Dick will be made first baseman on the honorary team, too.
I wouldn't be surprised. But the important thing at this point is to beat Wilson.
We'll clean the living daylights out of them, Coach.
I hope so. That Wilson pitcher, Sandy Carlson's a clever boy.
When Dick and Ted and the rest of our murderers row start pounding Carlson, he won't know what hit him, Coach.
Well, I hope you're right, Simba. Now, excuse me for a minute, will you?
Oh, sure.
I have some news to give Dick and Ted. Cole and Green, that's enough out there for now. Come over here a minute.
Hello, Coach. You wanted us, sir?
That was nice going out there, boys.
Thanks.
Ted, I don't want you to strain that pitching arm between now and Saturday. Take it a little bit easy.
Okay, sir.
I want both of you to keep your batting eyes as sharp as you can. Have the scrub pitchers throw them in at you.
Right, Coach.
The best way to hit that Carlson boy is to hit him good and hard. I'm going to concentrate on batting practice for the rest of the week.
Well, that sounds good to me, Coach. Oh, listen to Dick. He's the happiest guy I've ever seen when he's got that hickory or ash in his mitts. You don't do so badly yourself, pal.
Boys, there's something else I want to say to you.
Oh, yes, sir?
Have either of you ever thought about really playing baseball professionally, I mean?
Well, no, sir. I sure never thought about it. Never occurred to me either.
Well, I believe that in time, with proper training, you're both major league material. In any event, I think you ought to know something. Dan Trimble, an old friend of mine, is coming to see the game on Saturday, and Dan is a big league scout.
That's fancy. Yeah, it sure is.
I had a letter from him this morning. He told me that he's coming to watch you two and Carlson at Wilson Academy. So I just thought I'd tip you off, in case you're interested.
Thanks a lot, Coach, but I'm going to college next fall. Yes, and I'm coming back here to Parr. But it's nice to know that a scout thinks enough of us to want to give us the once-over anyway. Don't you think so, Ted? Oh, you bet. Well, even if we aren't interested in playing professional baseball, we can certainly show him a hot game, if we can. We'll do that all right. You know, it just came to me. I wonder if Sandy Carlson over at Wilson wants to play pro ball. Because if he does, he's really going to bear down on us Saturday to make a good showing. And that's no kidding.
Hey, Sandy.
Oh, hiya, Downey.
I've been looking all over for you. What have you been doing?
Looking over some of these big league records ever since practice. Boy, how I'd love a crack at the real stuff.
That's why I've been looking for you. You shot out of the locker room so fast that the coach missed you. You know what? Dan Trimble, the big league scout, is going to be at the game on Saturday.
He is? Boy.
Coach said to tell you Trimble wants to see you in action. That's one of the reasons he's coming to the game.
That's my break.
Yeah, and it's too bad, isn't it?
What do you mean, too bad? Are you nuts?
I meant that
This is just a break I've been waiting for. I'll pitch a game that Dan Trimble won't forget. And the Parr team won't forget it either.
That's what I'm trying to say, you jerk. I think it's a tough break and a hunk of lousy luck to have a scout come and see you in just this particular game.
I don't get you.
Because of that Parr murderer's role, that's why. Dick Cole and Ted Green and Bill French and the rest of that Parr team have made every pitcher they've met all season look putrid.
Yeah, they are pretty heavy hitters from what the coach tells me. He's been warning me that I'm going to have my hands full.
You'll make a great impression on a big league scout, all right, when that Parr team knocks you clear out of the box. That'll be swell, won't it?
Well, then I got to make pretty darn sure they won't knock me out.
Look, Sandy, you're good, but you aren't that good. Just run your eye over the batting averages those birds have. I tell you, they're terrific. And even with the control you have over the horse eye, the chances are they'll make a monkey out of you.
I've got to look good in that game. And it isn't winning the championship that I'm concerned about either. It's impressing that big league scout.
How are you going to do it? Wave a magic wand over the baseball so the Parr guys don't touch it?
You know, Donnie, you may have an idea there at that.
What in the devil are you talking about?
Maybe I ought to do a little magic wand waving. Maybe the baseball itself is the answer. Donnie, look, run over to the locker room and swipe me a half a dozen baseballs. I got some work to do.
But, Sandy,
do what I say. I gotta look like the world's greatest pitcher to that scout on Saturday, and I don't care what I have to do or how I have to do it to get there. Now go on. Delicate work. Taking away the cork and the rubber. I think maybe this one will work. And the next thing is to get it set up again so that nobody will know the difference. You gotta be careful about all this. Gotta get the stuff put away. Who's there?
It's me, Downey.
Oh, okay, Downey. I'll unlock the door.
Boy, you're sure keeping yourself locked up, Sandy. What's
Come in and close the door, you fool. Anybody who passes in the corridor can look right in.
Okay, don't be so edgy. Now, what's all the mystery about it? What are you doing up so late, anyhow? I noticed your light was still on, so I thought I'd drop in.
Don't be so nosy. It isn't healthy.
You'd think you were turning out some secret stuff for atomic bombs or something the way you act. Hey, what are all those baseballs doing out? Is that why you've been staying up so late?
If you say a word to anyone, Downey, about what I've been doing here, so help me,
How can I say anything to anybody when I don't know myself what you're doing?
One more crack, Downey.
Oh, don't be so touchy. You know darn well I'm not going to go blabbing anything. I know that you're monkeying around in some way with these baseballs for the game against Farr,
And
but...
keep away from that baseball.
For Pete's sake, I'm not going to hurt it. I only picked it up to hold
Put it down, I say.
Oh, all right.
Come on.
You don't have to get so tough. I'll put it down.
Now.
Oh, I'm sorry it slipped. I dropped it.
All right, let it go. Let's just forget the whole thing.
You know, there was something awfully funny about that baseball.
I'll leave it where it is. Just let it stay there on the floor.
Okay, but I'd sure like to know what it is that was so funny. I won't say anything to anyone, Sandy. You don't have to worry. But I'd sure like to know what it is that's gone haywire with that horsehide.
Never mind what it is, Downey. But I will say you've done me a favor. Chopping that ball has shown me one thing. I'm certainly on the right track. Few more hours?
The ball was acting peculiar while it was falling. And when it hit the floor, too. Come across, Sandy. What does it mean?
Well, it means, my friend, that the big league scout is going to think I'm the best pitching find to come along since Lefty Grove. And it means that Dick Cole, Ted Green, and company are going to get whitewashed on Saturday. Yeah, Downey, it means they're going to ring up the biggest little goose egg you've ever seen.
We'll go back to the adventures of Dick Cole in just a moment. But right now, boys and girls, I have a message for you from the people who bring you this program. Back to the adventures of Dick Cole. You'll remember that we left Sandy Carlson, the Wilson Academy pitcher, experimenting with some baseballs just a few days before the game with Farr. Sandy wanted to look good to the big league scout who was going to be at the game. And whatever it was that he was doing to the baseballs didn't look too good for Dick Cole and the rest of the Farr team. Well, the day of the game finally arrived. Dan Trimble was in the crowded stands. And at the last half of the sixth inning, the score was tied 0-0. The Farr coach was talking to his boys on the bench. He looked worried.
Boys, I don't like the looks of this thing. I say I don't like the looks of this thing, boys.
Yeah, don't worry about it. We'll get that
sir.
fella.
Well, I hope
yet,
you
Coach.
boys better hurry it up. Ted, you're pitching a nice game, but it isn't airtight by any means.
I know it, Coach. Boys saved me half a dozen times. That line of use pad, Dick, the last inning was terrific. Paul was on its way out to right field for a sure double.
Can't you figure Carlson out, boys? What's he got that's bothering you?
Well, it seems to me that he's got an awfully smart change of pace, Coach.
Yeah, that's right. Tosses curves and curves and more curves. And just when you think you're catching on to him,
he pulls a quick change of pace.
From the bench here, it looks like a slow ball.
No, sir, he isn't slow balling us exactly.
We're connecting with the ball, so but we never seem to be able to get it into the outfield.
There's been hardly a ball knocked out of the infield yet. The Farr murderer's row.
Well, the ball seems kind of dead when we do hit it.
You know, I noticed that, too. Carlson slips his hand into his hip pocket. So I figured maybe he keeps a rosin bag there and he's dusting off his fingers or something.
Well, I don't know what it is exactly. But next time I'm up, I'm really going to keep my eye on the ball and on Carlson.
Well, don't take too long to get the riddle figured out, boys. If you do, Parr will lose this ball game.
Championship game between Parr and Wilson Academies. And what a whale of a game it is. The score is still tied, 0-0. It looks as though there might be a break any time now. The Wilson team's been hitting Ted Green, the Parr pitcher, pretty freely in the past 2 innings, but he's been saved again and again by brilliant fielding. Up until now, though, the Parr team hasn't been able to solve the tossing of Sandy Carlson. What a pitcher that Wilson boy's turning out to be. 2 gone in the last half of the 8th, and Ted Green, the Parr pitcher, is up. Ted has hit .350 this season. The Parr Cadet Corps is giving him a big hand. Let's listen to it. Hey, Parr, 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 Parr. Carlson stands out there on the mound looking at him. He grins, tugs at his cap, winds up and throws, and it's a ball. Ball 1. He's walking Ted Green deliberately. How do you like that? Carlson is purposely pitching out to Green, walking him to get at Dick Cole. Ball 2, what nerve that is. Cole, who's been leading the league in batting, is next up, and Carlson is deliberately walking Green to get at him. Ball 3. It's doubly dangerous for Wilson, because with a fast man on first, Cole could knock in a run that would end this tie. Ball 4. Green is trotting down to first, and Dick Cole is up at bat. The crowd's going wild. Here's a dramatic moment with Cole at bat. Sandy Carlson reaches into his hip pocket. That's been a characteristic gesture every time he's been in a tight spot in this game. His hand comes out. He winds up. Throws. Strike 1. Carlson burned one across the heart of the plate. Cole didn't take his bat off his shoulder. Stands there looking out at Carlson on the mound, staring at him. Carlson winds up again and... Strike 2! Crowd has quieted down now. You can't hear a sound. It's 2 strikes, no balls on Dick Cole. So far, Cole hasn't budged. The number 1 batter of the league is standing there just like a statue, watching Sandy Carlson, the Wilson pitcher, staring and looking as hard as he can. Here's the windup, the pitch, and strike 3. Cole is out. Carlson struck him out on 3 pitched balls. Cole didn't even take his bat off his shoulder. He didn't move. He didn't budge. Carlson struck him out. That's 3 out. There goes Parr's big chance. Parr team's going out on the field now for the first half of the night. Now, wait a minute. The team is clustering around Dick Cole. Parr coach is hurrying over from the bench. Seems to be some kind of a council of war going on down there on the field. Can't tell what it's all about from up here.
Cole, Dick Cole, what's the idea? You trying to throw the game? You didn't even take the bat off your shoulder.
Coach, I've got it.
Oh, you've gotten us a game in the ash can, Dick.
No, sir. I know it looked funny, my standing there and not even trying to hit. But I was trying to figure out that Indian sign that Carlson has on us. And I finally hit on it.
What is it, Dick? You better be right, boy. You not only hurt your own batting average,
My batting average isn't important, but winning this game is. Now, look, sir. If I'm right, and I'm dead sure that I am, the next time we're up, we can win this ball game by bunting.
Bunting in the last half of the ninth?
Yes, sir. If we bunt, we'll win this baseball game for sure. I know that we will.
Well, we better had. It's our last chance. All right, boys. We'll try Cole's idea. Next time, everybody bunt. And if it doesn't work, the championship goes right out the window.
What a ball game this is. What a game. It's the last half of the 9th inning of the Parr-Wilson game. Parr has pulled a new strategy that is leaving Wilson helpless. The first 3 Parr hitters have bunted, and they've loaded the bases. Imagine it. The first 3 men in a row have all laid down perfect bunts, one after another. You've never seen bunting like that. The ball is stopped practically dead each time. Carlson, the Wilson pitcher, looks like he's going up in smoke. He was awfully good for 8 innings, but now that the heat's on, he seems to be folding up. Fairchild, the far left fielder, is up. Right-handed hitter. Carlson keeps putting his hand into his hip pocket over and over. The magic hasn't been working anymore. Fairchild afar up, 3 men on. Carlson tugs at his cap, dips his hand into his hip pocket again, winds up slowly. He throws, and Fairchild bunts! The 4th man to bunt. The ball rolls halfway to the pitcher's box, practically stops right there, and there's the winning run crossing the plate. Parr wins the ball game 1-0. Parr team is slapping Dick Cole on the back. They're pumping his hand, lifting him up to their shoulders. I don't quite get this. It's Fairchild who punted home the winning run, but it's Dick Cole who's the hero of the Parr team down there, and the whole Parr cadet car's going crazy.
Hey, Dick, hurry up and finish the shower.
I can't hear you. The water's running.
I said to hurry up and finish.
I couldn't hear you, Ted. I had the shower running. Now, what was it that you said?
I said to hurry up and finish your shower, you smart dope.
I did.
And that's what you did. Yes, you did, without even knowing what I was talking about. Now get dressed as fast as you can.
Well, what's the rush?
The coach wants to see you in the dressing room right away. Dan Trimble, the big league scout, is with him.
Well, no, sir. No professional baseball for me.
I think that Trimble and the coach want to find out how you figured that the way to beat Carlson was to bunt him out of the box.
Oh, so that's it.
That's it. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of curious about the whole thing myself. Somehow you did some awfully fancy thinking somewhere along the line, Dick.
Oh, it was pretty simple, Ted.
Maybe so. But I'm darned if I can figure it out. I'd like to know how you realized that the way to win the game was to bunt, and then bunt some more.
You'd like to know, huh?
Yeah, I'd like to know.
Okay, then. Come along to the coach's office and find out. If you don't know already, you'll be about as surprised as I was when I discovered what Carlson was doing.
Come in, boys. Come in.
Thank you, sir.
I want you to meet Dan Trimble. Dan, this is Dick Cole and Ted Green, my stars.
How
are you, Dick?
How do you do,
Ted?
sir?
Very glad to know you, Miss Trimble.
Well, nice to meet you, boys. You both played a whale of a game out there today.
Well, thanks a lot.
Your coach here tells me that you're both planning to go on with school, but you aren't interested in a professional baseball career. At least not for a while, he
Oh,
says.
yes, that's right, Mr. Trimble.
Well, now, anytime you boys change your minds, just let me know. We'll find a spot for you. Hey, that was a peach of a game you pitched out there today, Green.
Well, thank you, sir.
And as for you, Cole, you really used your head.
Thank you.
I'll admit that when you were up in the 8th inning and were called out on 3 pitched balls on 3 called strikes, I wondered for a few minutes whether you had lost your head completely.
Well, a lot of people wondered that, I guess. To tell you the truth, Mr. Trimble, I wasn't any too darn sure myself. A couple of times I almost took a good, healthy cut at that ball.
If you don't mind my asking, Dick, why didn't you?
Yes, Dick, I'd like to know the answer to that myself. Ted here was on first, and if you'd managed to rap out a decent hit, he might have scored, and you could have brought in the winning run right there.
Well, I didn't swing on the ball because of what had happened the other time I was up. And because of what happened to the other fellas, too. You undoubtedly noticed, Mr. Trimble, that even when one of us did connect, the ball didn't travel very far.
Yes, that's very true. I noticed it when I was at the plate. The ball seemed to be awfully dead when we hit it. Now, I kept thinking that Carlson was putting some sort of special spin on the ball, perhaps, when he threw it, you see?
That's what I thought, too, Ted. Until I stood there in the 8th and kept my eye right on the ball. I saw that it wasn't spinning in any different or fancy way at all. And that's when I realized a couple of other things, too.
I believe I'm beginning to see the light, Cole. It took me long enough, though.
Well, I don't get it yet. Afraid I'm not as bright as you are, Dan.
Neither am I.
Well, this all has a tie-up with Carlson putting his pitching hand back into his hip pocket. Isn't that right, Cole?
Yes, sir. You've got the answer, all right. I noticed that every time Carlson got into a tight spot, he put his hand in his hip pocket. Now, at first, I thought maybe he was keeping some rosin there to dry his fingers.
But, Dick, there's a rosin bag right in back of the pitcher's mound.
Exactly. That stuck in my head when I saw you using it during the first half of the 8th, Ted. Well, the thought occurred to me that maybe Carlson was pulling a dishonest stunt. But I had to be sure. So when I was at bat in the 8th, I watched him carefully. You'll remember he walked Ted purposely.
Well, that was showing off, Dick.
Yes, Carlson did that so he could make himself look good against you, Dick. He undoubtedly thought he'd make a better impression on Dan by making the league's leading hitter look silly.
Well, I was sure that when I came up to the plate, Carlson put the ball he'd been using into his pocket. And that he took out another ball. One that he had treated in some way to deaden it.
Oh, I see.
After he struck me out, I saw Carlson carefully pocket the baseball he'd used against me and throw the good one down on the ground for Ted to use against Wilson. Then, when the game ended, in all the excitement, I grabbed the ball that Carlson was using again, the one that the boys were bunting, and that Fairchild bunted in the winning run with. Here it is, Coach.
Well, let's see here.
Well, look at that. Why, that ball doesn't even bounce.
Well, I'm going to cut it open here.
All right, George, you are absolutely right, Cole. Look at that baseball. It's been tampered with. All the cork center has been removed, and all the rubber's gone.
No wonder we couldn't hit it anywhere. It was a dead baseball that Carlson was saving for emergencies.
Well, he certainly did a clever job of doctoring it, didn't he?
A little too clever.
Yes.
If it hadn't been for Cole's sharp eyes and quick thinking, Carlson would have pitched an impressive winning game. As it was, the perfect thing to do was just what your boys did, Coach. There's nothing like turning a disadvantage to your own purposes. And bunting a dead ball was exactly right.
Mr. Trimble, one thing, when a fellow wants to win a ball game, quite often he'll do almost anything he can to win it. And I just hope that you won't hold all this against Carlson. Because I think that he's pretty anxious to get into professional baseball.
Well, now, Dick, there's one quality that we want in organized baseball. A quality that counts as much as ability, and that is honesty. I hope that today's game will be a lesson for Carlson, because he is good.
Yes, sir, he is.
And if he ever does really learn the lesson that it's better to lose and be honest than it is to win by cheating, well, when he does learn that lesson, I'll have a job waiting for him.
Oh, that's great, Mr. Trimble. And, I'm sure he has learned, because he came over and apologized to me right after the game.
Well, that's good. And, Dick, if we do give him a job, I'll send him back to you for lessons in real sportsmanship.
Dick Cole will be back in just a moment. But first... Dick Cole fans, be sure to join us again next week, same time, same station, for another exciting half hour with Dick Cole at Parr Military Academy. Yes, plan to meet Dick Cole every week on the air and enjoy his thrilling radio adventures as you've enjoyed him and his life at Parr in those favorite comic magazines, Blue Bolt and Foremost Comics. And now, here's Dick himself for a final word.
So long, gang. I'll be seeing you again next week. Remember, it's a date.
Welcome back. I am trying to figure out the pitcher's plot. Because I was a little confused, because essentially it seems like at some points the story is saying that the pitcher was using the dead ball all the time, and then it sounds like he's only using it in tough situations, which does lead to a problem with Dick Cole's plan. Because if he was only using it in tough situations, why would he be using it against the first batter coming up in the ninth inning? Unless that guy was an exceptionally good bunter with a normal ball, I'm not entirely sure. Though I guess the idea that it would be important, particularly in a 0-0 ball game, to get the first batter out, maybe he would have gone to it in the bottom of the ninth inning. I also think he would have switched back to the normal ball once he had gotten a couple of guys on base. I mean, when you have two straight players bunt for base hits, it's a pretty good clue that they're onto your game and that you better come up with something else if you expect to win. So if you're looking for a secondary, more cynical lesson to take away from this program, it's the idea that if you're going to be dishonest, you should also not be stupid as well. Though some of the lack of precision may, and we have to keep in mind, it was, written with kids in mind. And I think the overall thrust of the episode is definitely good, both for kids' lives and for the sport, to teach the importance of honesty and good sportsmanship and fair play. Obviously, the way that it was done on today's episode probably wouldn't work with today's kids, and I'm not certain it worked back even in the 1940s, but I at least have to respect the effort. All right, well, listener comments and feedback now. And we have an email here from Barry, who writes, "I've been thoroughly enjoying the 2 stories that you've aired so far, and I'm sure that I will enjoy the rest of them. They've also brought back memories. I've always loved baseball movies, and I've seen the good ones many times. I've seen the Lou Gehrig movie, Pride of the Yankees, many times, and I enjoyed it each and every time I've seen it. I wasn't sure I'd enjoy hearing the radio adaptation, but I did very much. I'd never heard of the X-1 story, but I enjoyed it too. I was interested in your commentary after the story in which you mentioned Eddie Gaedel and the circumstances which led him to sign a 1-game contract with the Browns and to come up to bat that one time. Your mentioning of that game really brought back pleasant memories to mind. I was at Sportsman's Park in St. Louis that day and witnessed Gaedel taking 4 straight pitches to gain a base on balls. I was at the game with my father, and this particular occurrence is one of my most vivid memories of baseball when I was young, and of my dad. As Bob Hope would sing, thanks for the memories. I'm looking forward to the next 10 baseball stories. I admit I'm a sucker for baseball stories. Thank you for playing them on your podcast. Barry, now a St. Louis Cardinals fan." Barry, thanks so much for the comment, and I'm so glad that my mention of that brought back that memory, because that's, one of those really historic moments that fans, have talked about for years and years. It's great, to witness those things, by television. I was watching when, some great moments happened, like, Joe Carter's series-ending homer to win the 1993 World Series. But to actually witness something like that in person, it's not a World Series, but that is, one of those things that fans have been talking about for, 6 decades after the event. Now, I did want to clarify regarding our schedule. We actually are only going to have one more episode after this week's program in our baseball series as we get started on the summer series voted in by the Patreon supporters. However, we did actually play one more episode prior to Pride of the Yankees, so if you do check the archives of the show at amazing.greatdetectives.net, you can take a listen to the Alibi Ike episode. Well, that will actually do it for this week. Join us back here next week for the finale of our baseball series. And then coming in 2 weeks, we'll be getting into Top Secret, our summer series. So be sure and listen for that as well. And for our final baseball episode, we're going to go to something that is really strongly associated with baseball, and that's Abbott and Costello. The original air date on this program is April the 17th, 1947, and this one is Costello is invited to join the Yankees.
a chair for tonight's show, starring Bud Abbott and Luke Costello.
Costello, come here. Costello, will you come over here, please? Will you listen to me? What are you writing on that pad?
Hey, Abbott.
What are you writing on that pad?
I'm just making out a list of girls I'm going to kiss next week. Here's who I got picked out. Lizzie Schwartz, Maggie Mugglemeyer, Tessie Tinfoil, Lana Turner.
Now, wait a minute. Lana Turner wouldn't kiss you.
Oh, no?
Oh, no.
Then I'll scratch her off my list.
I love you. You dummy, always thinking of girls. Girls, girls, girls. Now, great men don't waste their time on girls. Where do you suppose Benjamin Franklin would have been if he'd have thought of girls all of the time?
In the front row at Earl Carroll's?
No. Costello, I've been telling you for the past 3 weeks. You've got to quit chasing girls and get yourself a job. Look at you. Look how sloppy you are. Look at your socks.
I can't help my socks, Abbott. It's those new Hickok plastic garters.
What's the matter with them?
Your socks stay up, but your legs fall down.
Yeah.
Luke Costello, telegram for Luke Costello. Here, boy. Out of the way, fatso. I'm looking for Luke Costello.
Boy, he is Luke Costello.
The famous Luke Costello?
Certainly.
The one and only Luke Costello?
Yes.
That's me. Gee, I listen to you on the radio every Thursday night. You break me up when you say, how do you do? Wait a minute! Wait a minute! That ain't me, that's the Mad Russian. You're saying? I'm right. Who's going to take this telegram?
I'll take it.
It's collect, $14.
He'll take it. Don't give it to me. Here, boy. Hey, Costello. This telegram is from Joe DiMaggio. Listen to this. Dear Lou, as you know, I am recovering from a foot operation. I would appreciate you taking my place on the New York Yankees until I recover. Please report to the Yankee Stadium immediately. Signed, Joe DiMaggio.
Abbott.
Hey, that's wonderful.
News. That's the news I've been waiting for. I'm going to be a big league ball player.
Yes.
DiMaggio probably heard about my playing with the Cucamonga Wildcats last year.
You a ball player? I don't believe it, Costello. You know nothing about ball.
Oh, no, baseball. I eat baseball. I live baseball. All night when I'm asleep, I dream about baseball.
Don't you ever dream about girls?
What, and miss my turn up at bat?
Oh! That's ridiculous. What's the matter with you?
Yes. And another thing, Abbott. What page are you on?
Never mind what page you're on.
And another thing, Abbott. Not only that, in Paterson, New Jersey, I worked out with a baseball team. I used to stay out till 4 o'clock in the morning.
Why did you stay out till 4 o'clock in the morning?
This was a girls' baseball team.
Costello, if you're going to play with the New York Yankees, you really have to know something about big league baseball, Lou.
I know all about baseball.
All right, suppose there's a left-handed pitcher pitching. What do?
I put in a right-handed batter.
Now, suppose there's a right-handed pitcher pitching.
I put in a left-handed batter.
But now I trick you. I take out the right-handed pitcher and put in a left-handed pitcher.
Then I double-cross you. I take out my left-handed batter and put in a right-handed batter.
Now, wait a minute. Where are you getting all those right-handed batters?
The same place where you're getting all those left-handed pitchers.
Oh.
Hello, Bud. Hello, Louis, honey.
It's Marilyn Maxwell.
Hello, Marilyn. I've got great news. I'm going to play ball with the New York Yankees. I'm taking you along as a pitcher.
Oh, now, Costello, Marilyn Maxwell can't pitch.
Oh, no? You should see all the guys she struck out that were trying to get to first base. This kid has got some nice curves.
All right.
Oh, Louis, you're so sweet. But I do hope you be careful. You know big league baseball is a very dangerous game.
Oh, what's dangerous about baseball, Marilyn?
Well, I read in the paper this morning that in the opening game in Boston, 5 players died on base.
Marilyn, you don't seem to know much about baseball. Let me show you how to play indoor baseball. First, I put my left arm around your waist. Then I snuggle my head on your shoulder like this. Then I press my cheek against your cheek.
Oh, wait a minute, Costello. That's not the way to play indoor baseball.
How do you like that? Every season, new rules.
Well, goodbye and good luck, Louis. I just know you'll become famous with those New York Yankees.
Marilyn's right,
Thank you,
Costello.
dear.
This is your chance to become famous. Now, you've got a good job as a baseball player, and you might find your proper niche in life.
Yes, I might. I mean, after all, if I find my... What will I find?
A niche. You'll find your niche.
Abbott, when I find an itch, I scratch it.
No. What in the world are you talking about?
An itch. I once had the 7-year itch.
What happened?
I scratched real fast and got rid of it in 3.5 years.
No, I'm not talking about that kind of an itch. I mean an itch in life. A niche in life is what everyone is looking for. Anyone who is successful has found a niche.
Well, if that's the case, I know an Airedale that is doing very well.
Listen to me, Costello. When I say an itch, I don't mean an itch like you have when you have an itch. I mean an itch like you have when you have a notch.
Oh, you don't mean an itch like an itch when you have an itch. You mean an itch like you have when you have a notch.
Now you've got it.
Now I've got it. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
Costello, why do you mash everything up like that? You're the most mixed-up man I ever saw.
Well, maybe it's because I fell on my mother's mix master this morning. She had it set for mashed potatoes.
Oh.
I'm all muddled.
I know that, you idiot. All I'm trying to tell you is that a niche is a notch. Catch?
Natch.
Natch, all right. Now you know that a niche is a notch. You know that both of them are the same.
Yes.
Now, I could have a notch and you could have a niche.
Yes, niche to me and notch to you.
I'm only trying to impress you the importance of being a big league ball player and having a good income. Did you ever draw a nice big fat salary?
No, I never drew a fat celery, but I once sketched a skinny tomato.
No. Costello, when I say draw, I don't mean draw like you draw when you draw. I mean draw like you draw when you draw a salary.
Abbott, let me smell your breath. Just as I thought. You've drawn one too many already.
Will you listen to me, please? When I say you draw a salary, I mean you draw money.
Now he's got me drawing money. Wait till the FBI finds out about this. I'll probably draw 20 years in a clink. And they don't feed you any celery in there either.
Costello, when I say you draw money, I mean you draw like you draw money to spend it. Not like when you draw on an easel.
That's what I always say. With money, it's easel come, easel go.
No. Everybody draws money. I draw money. I've been drawing money for years. My brother draws money. He's been drawing money for years.
You draw and your brother draws?
Certainly.
Just as I thought. You and your brother are an old pair of drawers.
While you light up a camel, here's Skinny Ennis with Linda.
When I go to sleep, I never count sheep. I count all the charms about Linda. Lately it seems, in all of my dreams, I walk with my arms about Linda. But what good does it do me? For Linda doesn't know I exist. Can't help feeling gloomy. Think of all the loving I've missed. We pass on the street, my heart skips a beat. I say to myself, hello, Linda. If only she'd smile, I'd stop her a while, and then I would get to know Linda. But miracles still happen, and when my lucky star begins to shine, with one lucky break, I'll make Linda mine. On the street, my heart skips a beat. I say to myself, hello, Linda. If only she'd smile, I'd stop her a while, and then I would get to know Linda. But miracles still happen, and when my lucky star begins to shine, with one lucky break, I'll make Linda mine.
To be a big league ball player, you've got to get yourself in shape. Now, from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., you lift weights. From 9 to 10, deep knee bends. 10 to 11, skip rope. 11 to 12, run 5 miles.
12 to 1, I'll never make it.
Hey, look. You idiot, you'll never be a ball player. Staying up late and going to nightclubs, eating rich food, running around with beautiful girls. Do you know what can happen to you?
Yes, I can become manager of the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Costello. I don't even know why DiMaggio picked you. You don't even know how to swing a bat.
I know all about swinging bats. When I was a kid, my father used to hit me with a baseball bat. My brother used to hit me with a baseball bat. My Uncle Artie Stebbins used to hit me with a baseball bat. And my mother used to hit me with a tennis racket.
With a tennis racket?
Yes, she didn't like baseball.
Hiya, fellas.
Well, it's Skinny Ennis.
Hey, Costello. I heard about you taking Joe DiMaggio's place for the New York Yankees.
That's right.
You know, I used to pitch for the Hollywood Stars, and boy, I'll never forget my last game. And with 5 men on base...
Oh, no, wait a minute, Skinny. Wait. 5 men on base. Now, that's impossible.
Did you ever see the Hollywood Stars play?
Ennis, I've seen the Hollywood Stars, and I don't remember you.
Oh, I've changed a lot since then. I had the biggest buck teeth you ever saw. I was the only man on the team that could slide into second base and spike you from either end. Well, so long, Fatso.
So long, Skinny. So long. Hey, you know that Skinny would make an ugly skeleton?
All right. Costello, don't waste time with him. Now, you've got to get ready for the opening game.
Yes, I think we're going to play the Cleveland Indians.
Cleveland Indians, eh?
Uh-huh.
Feller pitching?
Certainly there's a feller pitching. Who do you think they'd use, a girl?
Oh, I know they don't use a girl. I said feller pitching.
What feller?
Feller with the Cleveland Indians.
Look, Abbott, there's 9 guys on the Cleveland team. Now, which feller are you talking about?
Feller that pitches. There is only one feller with Cleveland.
You mean 9 Yankees are going to play against one feller?
That's right.
You mean there's no fellers in the outfield?
No.
And there's no fellers in the infield?
No, Cleveland only has one feller.
Well, this feller must be pretty good if he don't need any other players but himself.
Look, all the players will be out there helping him.
You just said there was only one feller on the team.
That's right.
Then where did all them other fellers come from?
Ah, you idiot. When I say there's only one feller on the team, I mean there is only one feller that pitches.
Well, Abbott, when the manager of the team wants this pitcher, what does he call him?
Feller.
You mean he just hollers, "Hey, feller!" And this guy knows that they mean him?
That's right. His name is Feller, Bob Feller. And when I say there is only one feller on the team that pitches, that's it. And the feller that pitches is Feller. There's only the other fellers on the team, but there's only one feller.
Boy, are you mixed up. Oh, you mean the feller that pitches is feller, and there's other fellers on the team, but they're not fellers?
Now you grasp it.
Yes, I grasp it, but it keeps slipping out of my hand.
Forget it. Let's go into this sporting goods store and get your baseball equipment. I want you to look right for the opening game. Now, go ahead and ask that lady there where they keep the baseball uniforms.
Pardon me, miss.
Well, if it isn't Mr. Abbott.
Hello.
And Mr. Costello.
Hello.
You fought, little mon, you.
What are you doing in the sporting goods store, miss?
Oh, I just stopped in to get a gift for my nephew. I'm buying him a Boz ball.
Boz ball? Abbott, you know what a Boz ball is. That's what the poocher throws to the coocher. And the booter tries to boot a home run.
My nephew is just a lotto chope, but his ambition is to be a Brooklyn Dozier catcher.
Well, if he's only a little guy, why don't he join the Detroit Tigers and be a short stoop?
Well, I must be going. As we say in Chinese, "Isha gooey hop dooey on push back to you."
And a dish of gooey chop suey and a push to you, too.
Hey, look, Costello. Here comes the salesman now.
Oh, good morning, boys. As Johnny Weissmuller said to Buster Crabbe, what dive did you come out of?
Well, my friend and I are here to get some baseball equipment. I'd like to see a baseball uniform that would fit Costello.
So would I. Look, as Adam said to Eve, quit ribbing me. However, I'll do the best I can. We'll start with the spiked shoes. What size do you wear?
8.
Oh, let me see. I've only got one pair left, and they're size 5. Maybe you can squeeze into them, Costello. Go ahead and try.
Okay. What do you know? Open-toed baseball shoes.
Now for the uniform. My, you're certainly a pudgy little rascal, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Aren't you overweight?
I'm about 120 pounds overweight, but I'm going back to my normal weight.
Yes, what's normal?
60 pounds overweight.
Costello, you should really go on a diet. Yeah, of course you know what a diet is, don't you?
Oh, sure. That's where you can eat all you want of everything you don't like.
Young man, if you really want to reduce, why don't you exercise with a couple of dumbbells?
Okay, I'm ready whenever you and Abbott are.
All right. Cut that out. Now, we've got to get your baseball equipment. Mister, do you have any bats?
Oh, certainly. Here's a fine bat. Autographed by Slaughter of the Cardinals. This bat was made for Slaughter.
Ain't you got one that was made for baseball?
When he says Slaughter, he means Slaughter, the baseball player.
Slaughter, the baseball player? With that bat, you could slaughter anybody.
No, Costello, I'm talking about Slaughter. Everybody knows Slaughter. He knows Slaughter.
Well, maybe he knows Slaughter, but I don't know him.
Look, you idiot. Everybody knows Slaughter, the baseball player. Slaughter is the man's last name.
What's his first name?
He knows.
Now, there's a clever guy. He knows his first name.
Oh, look. Let's forget about the bat. Look, mister, do you have a baseball cap that will fit Costello's head?
What size pencil sharpener does he wear? Oh, a baseball cap. Oh, yes, here's a dandy. This is the kind fella wears.
What fella?
The fella with the Cleveland Indians.
There's 9 players with the Cleveland Indians. Which fella are you talking about?
Oh, young man, when I say fella with the Cleveland Indians, I am only referring to one fella. The fellow that pitches with the Cleveland Indians.
When you say the fellow with the Cleveland Indians, you're only referring to one fella. The fellow that pitches for the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah. As Orville said to Wilbur, you're right.
How do you like that? Now they're doing our routines in sporting goods stores.
Oh, forget about him, Costello. Hey, wait a minute. I've got an idea. Mrs. Wetwash's late husband used to be a big league ball player. Now, he was a home run king, in other words. Now, maybe she'll give you one of his bats for good luck. Let's go over to her house and ask her.
Oh, okay. I'll go right over now, huh? You're right, Abbott. As John Adams said to Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. How do you like that? I forgot what John Adams said to Henry Wadsworth Longfellow.
Well, good morning, Mrs. Wetwash.
Oh, hello, Mr. Abbott. Oh, my, you know you ought to muzzle that St. Bernard dog. Oh, pardon me, it's Costello. Tell me, Costello, how are things in Gawker, moron?
Mrs. Wetwash, I wish you hadn't said that. I was just telling Abbott your face reminds me of a rose.
Oh, really? An American Beauty rose?
No, a rhinoceros.
Hey, shut up, Costello. Mrs. Wetwash, Costello's leaving for New York to join Joe DiMaggio's place. Take Joe's place. Isn't that wonderful? He's going to play with the Yanks.
Oh, I can't believe it.
Yes.
What do those big Yanks want with a little jerk like him?
Mrs. Wetwash, that was an insult. I'll have you know that beautiful women find me irresistible.
I don't find you irresistible.
And I don't find you beautiful.
Quiet, Costello. Ask her for those baseball bats her husband left her.
Okay. Mrs. Wetwash, I understand when your husband was alive, he had a lot of old bats.
That's a lie. He never went out with anybody but me.
No, Mrs. Wetwash. Costello means your husband's baseball bats. You see, he thought you might give him one of them.
Yes, that's right, Mrs. Wetwash. You see, I need a good bat.
Oh, you need a good bat. I'll be glad to help you out.
Can I have the bat right now?
Right now. Oh, my little head.
Presents lovely Marilyn Maxwell for Metro Goldwyn Mayer, producers of The Sea of Grass. For Camel fans everywhere and in honor of New Orleans Jazz Week, Marilyn sings for the first time on the air the title song of the picture, New Orleans.
And soon I'm wishing that I were there. Do you know what it means to miss New Orleans when that's where you left your heart? And there's something more. More than I miss New Orleans, more than I miss New
Well, Costello, I'm going to New York with you. You know, Bucky Harris, the Yanks manager, gave me a job as coach for as long as you're on the team.
Look, Abbott, if you're the coach, you must know all the players.
I certainly do.
Well, you know, I never met the guys, so you'll have to tell me their names, and then I'll know who's playing on the team.
Oh, I'll tell you their names, but you know, strange it may seem, they give these ball players nowadays very peculiar names.
You mean funny names?
Strange names, pet names, like Dizzy Dean and...
His brother Daffy?
Daffy Dean.
I'm their French cousin.
French?
Gouffet.
Gouffet Dean, oh, I see. Well, let's see, we have on the bags, we have who's on first, what's on second, I don't know who's on third.
That's what I want to find out.
I say, who's on first, what's on second, I don't know who's on third.
Are you the manager?
Yes.
You're going to be the coach, too?
Yes.
And you know the fellow's name?
Well, I should.
Well, then who's on first?
Yes.
I mean the fellow's name.
Who?
The guy on first.
Who?
The first baseman.
Who?
The guy playing
Who
first.
is on first?
I'm asking you who's on first.
That's the man's name.
That's whose name?
Yes.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
That's it.
That's who?
Yes.
Look, you got a first baseman.
Certainly.
Who's playing first?
That's right.
When you pay off the first baseman every month, who gets the money?
Every dollar of it.
All I'm trying to find out is the fellow's name on first base.
Who?
The guy that gets the money.
That's it.
Who gets the money on
He
first
does, every dollar. Sometimes his wife comes down and collects it.
Whose wife?
Yes. What's wrong with that?
Look, all I want to know is when you sign up the first baseman, how does he sign his name to the
Who?
contract? The guy.
Who?
How does he sign his
That's
name?
how he signs it.
Who?
Yes.
All I'm trying to find out is what's the guy's name on first base.
No, what is on second base?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
One base at a time.
Well, don't change the players around.
I'm not changing nobody.
Take it easy, buddy.
I'm only asking you, who's the guy on first base?
That's right.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, what's the guy's name on first base?
No, what is on second?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
I don't know.
Oh, he's on third. We're not talking about him. Now, let's forget about it.
Now, how did I get on third base?
Why, you mentioned his name.
If I mention a third baseman's name, who did I say is playing third?
No, who's playing first?
What's on first?
What's on second?
I don't know.
He's on third.
There I go, back on third again. Will you stay on third base and don't go off it?
All right, I don't even know.
Now, who's playing third base?
Why do you insist on putting who on third base?
What am I putting on third?
What is on second?
You don't want who on second?
Who is on first?
I don't know. Third base. Look, you got outfield?
Sure.
The left fielder's name.
Why?
I just thought I'd ask.
Well, I just thought I'd tell you.
Then tell me who's playing left field.
Who is playing first?
I'm not. Stay out of the infield. I want to know what's the guy's name in left field.
No, what is on second?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
I don't know. Third base. And the left fielder's name?
Why?
Because.
Oh, he's center field.
He's
Look.
Look. You got a pitcher on the team?
Sure.
The pitcher's name?
Tomorrow.
You don't want to tell me today?
I'm telling you,
Then
man.
go ahead.
Tomorrow.
What time?
What time what?
What time tomorrow you're going to tell me who's pitching?
Now listen, who is not pitching?
I'll break your arm, you say. Who's on first? I want to know what's the pitcher's name.
What's on second?
I don't know.
Third base.
Got a catcher?
Certainly.
The catcher's name.
Today.
And tomorrow's pitcher.
Now you've got it.
All we got is a couple of days on the team. You know, I'm a catcher, too.
So they tell me.
I get behind the plate, do some fancy catching. Tomorrow's pitching on my team, and a heavy hitter gets up.
Yes.
Now, the heavy hitter bunts the ball. When he bunts the ball, me being a good catcher, I'm going to throw the guy out of first base, so I pick up the ball and throw it to who?
Now, that's the first thing you've said right.
I don't even know what I'm talking about.
That's all you have to do.
Is to throw the ball to first base.
Yes.
Now, who's got it?
Naturally.
Look, if I throw the ball to first base, somebody's got to get it. Now, who has it?
Naturally.
Who?
Naturally.
Naturally?
Naturally.
So I pick up the ball and I throw it to Natural.
No, you don't. You throw the ball in a hole.
Naturally.
That's different.
That's what I said.
You're not saying that.
I throw the ball to Naturally.
You throw it to who?
Naturally.
That's it.
That's what I said.
Listen, you asked me.
I throw the ball to who?
Naturally.
Now you asked me.
You throw the ball to who?
Naturally.
That's it.
Same as you.
Don't change them around.
Same as you.
Now get it over.
I throw the ball to who? Whoever it is drops the ball and the guy runs a second.
Yes.
Who picks up the ball and throws it to what? What throws it to? I don't know. Throws it back to tomorrow. Triple play.
Yes.
Another guy gets up and it's a long fly ball to because. Why? I don't know. He's on third and I don't give a darn.
What?
I said I don't give a darn.
Oh, that's our shortstop.
I'm an idiot.
Come on.
Abbott and Costello will be back in just a moment for Camel cigarettes. During the war, the makers of Camel cigarettes sent a total of more than 150 million free Camels to our fighting men overseas. Now free Camels are sent to servicemen's hospitals instead. This week, the Camels go to Veterans Hospital, Fort Lyon, Colorado, USAAF Station Hospital, Davis-Monthan Field, Tucson, Arizona, U.S. Naval Hospital, Quantico, Virginia, U.S. Marine Hospital, Baltimore, Maryland, and Veterans Hospital, Palo Alto, California. Camel broadcasts go out to the United States 3 times a week. Are rebroadcast to practically every area in the world where men are still stationed and to our good neighbors in Central and South America. And now back to Bud Abbott and Lou Costello.
What is that, Lou, you've got in your hand there? Another telegram?
Hey, Abbott, look, I just got a telegram from Joe DiMaggio.
Well, go ahead and read it.
Okay. Dear Lou, just heard your show. I think you have the makings of the world's greatest natural ball player. You have spiked teeth, a club head, and you've been off your base for years.
Good night, folks.
Good night, everybody. And a special good night to Joe DiMaggio. Get well quick, Joe.
Listen to Abbott and Costello again next Thursday night when Costello is going to build himself a new prefabricated house. You can imagine the trouble he'll get into. I don't know whether it'll be a 1-story house or a 2-story house, but anyway, that's another story.
Be sure to tune in on Grand Ole Opry on NBC Saturday night. You all know and love the songs of America, but this week you have something extra special in store for you. Red Foley and his guests, Ernest Tubb and Roy Acuff. Grand Ole Opry Saturday night on NBC.
Be sure to tune in next week for another great Abbott and Costello show. Abbott and Costello's famous baseball routine, Who's on First, is now available at Phonograph Records. This is Michael Roy in Hollywood wishing you all a pleasant good night.
NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Welcome back. Well, whatever was ailing Joe DiMaggio in April of 1947 didn't cause him to miss a whole lot of games. In a 154-game season, he appeared in 141 games and actually won his third and final MVP award over Ted Williams, even though Williams won the Triple Crown that year, leading the league in batting average, home runs, and RBI. DiMaggio benefited from the fact that he played for the Yankees and that the Yankees had won the pennant, plus the fact that Williams, who he actually only beat by one vote in the balloting, was not particularly well liked by writers. And actually, he was entirely left off of one ballot, not listed in second or third. But at any rate, Joe DiMaggio was fine. As for the skits, they're classic Abbott and Costello, and it's fun to hear all of the stuff that they did, particularly the baseball related. And in some cases, a lot of it does have echoes of Who's on First, the whole skit about Bob Feller. But there was a certain predictability to their comedy in terms of the type of sketches, skits, and jokes they told. Really, it was all in the delivery, and it was all in the timing. And the way that they did the material was ultimately what made it so special. And I hope that you enjoyed this. And this will conclude our baseball season. Join us next week as we begin our summer series, Top Secret. In the meantime, send your comments to Box13 at GreatDetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter at Radio Detectives and become one of our friends on Facebook, Facebook.com/Radio Detectives. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off.